Hello everyone, welcome back to GeekDisorder's web series over HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and jQuery. This is Lavik and I'll be walking you through this series. Today we're going to be going over repeating linear gradients for backgrounds. They're very similar to just the regular linear gradient we covered in the last video, except this time they're repeating. So I wanted to go over that. You can do some cool things. So let's go ahead and get started. And well, I'm just going to use the body for my background, and well, actually, no, I'm gonna do a div, and that way I can control the size here. All right, and I'm gonna go up in my styles here. I am gonna create a div to format, and first thing we'll do is I'm gonna set the height, and I'm gonna set the height to 150 pixels. And I'm going to set the width to say 300 pixels. There we go. Alright, and I'm going to create a background color, and I'm just going to make it black. There we go. Let's go ahead and save this, see what we got so far. And there we go. We just have a black background on our div. So as you all know, a linear gradient kind of looks like this. You put linear dash and then gradient. Okay, colon. Oops, that's sorry, got ahead of myself there. Okay, what you do here is you put background dash image colon, and then you put linear. Oops, linear, and then dash gradient. Okay, open and close parentheses. I'm going to go ahead and end that. Alright, and then you put your degrees you want. I'm going to put 90 degrees here, comma. And then I'm going to set blue at 0%, red at 50%, okay, and yellow at 75%. Oops. And let's say let gray at 100%. Alright, and if I save and launch this in Firefox, this is what I get. Okay, and that is the normal linear gradient. So what does repeating do? Well, I'm going to change the percent values, and I'm going to use pixel values. And so I'm going to put 10 pixels here, and look over here. I'm going to put 20 pixels, and right here I'm going to put 30 pixels, and right here I'm going to put 40 pixels. Let's see what we get here. Launching Firefox, and that's what we get. Okay, what you got is blue is at 10 pixels here. Okay, then it moves to red at 20. And then of course I have yellow here. Let's change this to something else. Let's change this to something you can see a little bit better. How about green? Alright. Okay, close this one and launch this again in Firefox. There we go. Much better. So I have blue, red, green, and gray. So blue, red, green, and gray. And that's what we get when we do it like this. So what does a repeating linear gradient do? Well, the only thing I add here is over here at the start I put the word repeating and a dash. Alright, I'm going to save, I'm going to launch this, and this is what happens. What it does is it takes the values you put in and it repeats the whole set. As you can see here, green, we have let's see, blue, red, green, and gray. Alright, blue, red, green, and gray. Okay, but you might be asking yourself, well, it doesn't start with blue. Well, the reason it doesn't start with blue is we have blue at 10 pixels here. If I can do two things, I can either leave off the 10 pixels completely, or I can put something like 0 pixels. And if I launch this again, it starts with blue. Okay, if you start your first color like at 20 pixels or something, then this is repeating, so it's going to fill in the 20 pixels before your first color with the repeating values. Okay, so and you can do some cool stuff with this. So let me show you a couple other things you can do. Of course, you can mess with the degrees and all kinds of stuff. Okay, but let's say we wanted to do just black and white. Well, let's go ahead and look at this. What I could do here is I could do black, okay, and I'm not going to put a value, so that is the beginning, okay, and then I could do at let's say white at 5 pixels. Alright, and let's go ahead and launch this, and this is what we get. Alright, let's do this again at about 20 pixels. That'd be easier to see. Yeah, there we go. Alright, it's a little bit bigger there, but you notice I'm using black right here. My background is black, so there has to be a way for me to use this black, let it bleed through, make this transparent, and that way I just have white. And there is a way to do this. What you can do here is you can just put like a transparent, okay, but when you use transparent, like if I save this right now and I launch, okay, this is what you get. Alright, you can see the transparent is kind of bleeding in. If you want to control the width of the black, you can do that too. The way you do that is I put transparent again, okay, and I tell it where I want it to stop being transparent. Let's say I put 20 pixels right there, and I move over here, and at this one I put 25. Let's launch and run this, and there we go. Okay, you can, with using transparent and setting the background color, I can kind of control my width of black there, so I get that. Alright, and so there's a lot of different things you can kind of do. Like, let's see, I can do negative 45 or just a regular 45 degree. Alright, let's set this to say 25. What's another good one? And well, let's go ahead and save that, see what we got so far. That's just pure black. Of course, we have this set at 25. We could do something like red at 30, oops, and blue at 40 pixels. Okay, so there we go. So you can kind of play around with the repeating linear gradient and see what you can come up with. But there it is. I'll also link to the Mozilla documentation for this, and so you can see there are a few more options you can use, and you can kind of learn to play around with it a little bit more. Alright, well, this has been Lavic with GeekDisorder. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see y'all next time.